Today, we are going to talk about the concept of loneliness and how to deal with it in a healthy way. Loneliness can be a frightening and debilitating experience for many people. However, it is possible to analyze this time in a positive perspective. Loneliness can be a great opportunity to get to know yourself better, to find inner peace, and to reconsider your priorities in life. In this video, we will focus on two main topics. First, the concept of solitude, and second, the retreat as a consciously chosen version of solitude. First, let's start by trying to understand the phenomenon of loneliness. When we are with people, in social relationships with them, we often feel fulfilled and happy. But when these people are not there or they leave us, we often experience feelings of sadness, depression, or loneliness. It feels as if no one cares about us or understands us. The feeling of loneliness is often related to the fact that our happiness, which is shaped by the presence of outside people, disappears in their absence. Therefore, when people leave our lives or move away, we feel abandoned, sad, and deeply empty. So how can we deal with the feeling of loneliness? This is where we come to the concept of retreat, which has an important place in Buddhism. The Buddha advised his monks and followers to practice seclusion. But what exactly is seclusion, and how does it differ from solitude? Let's compare these two states. The feeling of loneliness is often associated with waiting for someone to come into your life and make you happy. This means that you have made your happiness dependent on others. So, external factors become the determinant of your happiness. But retreats aim to break this dependency. In the retreat process, you start looking for happiness within yourself. When you find inner peace and happiness within your own being, the need to depend on another person disappears. Retreats give you this independence and inner strength. Many people find it difficult to understand the difference between solitude and retreat. Solitude is a state in which you need external resources, whereas a retreat is a state in which you completely let go of dependence on these resources and go on an inner exploration. In a retreat, you satisfy yourself internally, rather than seeking happiness externally. This allows us to reframe loneliness not as a negative experience, but as a positive and nurturing process. How can we transform loneliness in a positive way? In this process, you can focus on improving your health and strengthen yourself through mental and physical practices. By practicing personal development techniques, you can use this time to your advantage and turn the feeling of loneliness into an advantage. When you view loneliness from a positive perspective, depressive or sad feelings are replaced by inner peace and contentment. I want to share a little story about how the Buddha once felt lonely. This happened when he was still on the path to enlightenment, when he was known as the Bodhisattva. As a Bodhisattva, he went through a process of strict self-discipline, known as the meditation of practicing self-torture and extreme hardship. This arduous journey lasted 6 years, and he had 5 companions with him. At the end of this arduous process, however, he realized that it was not possible to attain enlightenment through bodily suffering alone, and he decided to choose a more balanced path for himself, the middle path. After making this decision, the first step was to take his bowl and go to the village and buy food, because he thought he needed physical energy to meditate and to continue his spiritual development. But when the 5 monks saw the Buddha eating this food, they were very surprised and disappointed. They thought that the Buddha would achieve enlightenment through these extreme sacrifices. But this convinced them that the Buddha would not achieve enlightenment, and they lost faith in him and left the Bodhisattva. So Maha Bodhisattva was left completely alone in the depths of the forest. There was no one to support him, guide him, or care for him. No one knew of his existence. But he saw this solitude not as a tragedy, but as an opportunity. He realized that it gave him more inner time, a space to meditate freely. we too should approach loneliness from a similar perspective. If you feel lonely or experience periods of loneliness in your life, you can use this time to build a better life. Loneliness can be an opportunity for you to pause and be reborn. You can calm your mind by meditating, create a daily routine to support your personal growth, go for long walks in nature, read books to nourish your mind and soul, or learn new skills. Such activities become deeper and more meaningful when you are alone. We should see loneliness as an opportunity, not a shortcoming. People may come in and out of your life. This is a natural process. But when you are alone with yourself, you can make the most of this time and establish a deep connection with yourself. Solitude is a unique opportunity to explore your inner world and get to know yourself better. Use this time to build your inner peace and happiness. For many people, loneliness can be perceived as a frightening and sad situation. But instead of seeing this period as a negative experience, we can use it as an opportunity. Loneliness actually offers a unique time to listen to ourselves, find inner peace, and reassess our life goals. You can use this time to meditate, take walks in nature, read books you've been meaning to read for a long time, or learn new skills. You can also embark on a journey to discover your own potential by working on personal development. People come and go in our lives. Instead of resisting this natural cycle, we should learn to accept these changes. Each person who comes and goes leaves a mark on our lives and teaches us important lessons. However, the most important thing in this process is to learn to be self-sufficient. Understanding that it is possible to be happy without being dependent on others is one of the greatest freedoms in your life. The Buddha's teachings help us to realize the power of solitude and seclusion. Retreats are the perfect way to rediscover yourself and find inner peace. When you are alone, you have the opportunity to be alone with your thoughts and get to know your own self more deeply. This process allows you to realize how strong and independent you really are. Discovering your inner strength not only makes it easier for you to cope with loneliness, but also makes you more resilient to life's challenges. In conclusion, using solitude and retreat experiences as opportunities can bring deep meaning and a positive outlook to your life. If people want to join your life, welcome them. If they want to leave, accept and let them go. However, always make it a top priority to be with yourself and enrich your inner world. Use this precious time as a tool to make yourself stronger, more conscious, and happier. Embrace the retreat as a process of renewal. Through this process, you will get to know yourself more deeply and discover who you really are. Remember, the deepest peace and happiness comes not from the outside world, but from your own inner world. This inner journey will set you truly free.